Hello everybody, and welcome to a video on Let's Play Gaming Expo. This was a fun convention where I ran a booth, as you can see here, and I'm not going off of any script. I'm just basically talking over some video that I did take during the convention, and it was really fun. As you can see, there is some behind the scenes footage here before the convention opened officially, and I do have to say it wasn't too busy this year compared to last year, but it wasn't bad. It was a great time. In fact, it was super fun. This was my first time running a booth at a big convention. Now I did run one at the Retropalooza Swap Meet, but as you can see, there was a lot of cool stuff. This was one booth that was down the vendor hall, kind of on the other side from where I was. There was a good amount of stuff. I came home with a bunch of stuff, and stay tuned for that. It was really fun. There was an import stand there, which I ended up trading a lot of my stuff for a lot of their stuff. Besides the vendor hall, there was also other parts of the convention, which we'll get into a little later. There's a Sharp TV, missing one of the legs, but it was really cool to see. There was a game exchange booth there, which that was where the Sharp TV was. There was Retribution's game booth there, or Retribution Games booth in Fort Worth. There was the arcade here, which was packed of a ton of different arcades, some that I really haven't been able to see in person. There was also a really cool Polybius booth sitting around there, which you will see in a second. There's a cool little Hello Kitty TV that was sitting there, but there was my neighbor's booth. That was certainly the best neighbors I could ever have for a booth, both sides. There was the VR stuff, which just passed by. Another one of them, a familiar face booth. There, my booth, of course, with Pitfall on Atari 2600 running. At my neighbor's booth, there was a Nintendo Entertainment System Deluxe set, which didn't have the ROM in it, but it did have everything else with it. It was pretty cool, though. And I was playing Duck Hunt here. My neighbor, he was a Sweeney, which I'm sure some of you who are watching this video certainly know. I was playing this Duck Hunt. I'm not very good, as you can see. That was a flyaway. I'll get better as you watch. But overall, everyone had a fair amount of stuff. This was a very good, packed with rarities convention, if you know what I mean. You'll see as we go along. I felt like the vendor hall had a great variety of people selling stuff. There was plenty of Saturn stuff, plenty of Super Nintendo, N64, NES stuff, and rare consoles all around the convention. It was great to see. This was Freaks and Geeks booth, and they had a Virtual Boy in that travel case there. Really unique to see. I was more than happy to see that there. There was a bunch of different stuff. There is, of course, a ton of games varieties there, 32X games, some plushies, and I did end up liking this art a bunch. I wish I did pick up one. The 3D art, actually. It was something where you put on some 3D glasses, you can view these in a sort of 3D way. Here's an Atari Jaguar, which I did end up buying along with one of those games, and I unfortunately didn't get to pick up White Men Can't Jump, and the other game, I think it was Iron Soldier. There was some cool N64 stuff along with this droid, which was remote control, going around the convention. You'll see him more often throughout the video. I thought this was some really cool piece. Whoever built this, congrats on building that. I'm sure everyone asked questions about it, and it was definitely an attraction to go see when you were there. There's yet again the booth next to me. Then I did pick up some Japanese N64 games from the import booth. I picked up Densha De Go and another weird game. There's my Sega CD, which I just panned over for a second. There's my other neighbors, which had these cool Mario minifigures. Very cool condition. Now, they were McDonald's toys, I believe. Here is West's booth with a few other people who were also selling there. Had that cool GameCube stand, and there's the Jaguar. I did end up picking that up. Very happy with that. That was the end of that day, and as you can see, they're all packing up, and this might be the morning or the night. I think this is the night I was going away. Now, this is morning. There is my booth. The next day, as you can see, some things are gone. It got better as the convention went along. And there's the arcade again. Some really cool games. There was Junior Pac-Man. I think this might be the shot where you can see Polybius. But that'll come up. Yeah, there it is. Polybius. Now, I don't think that's an official cabinet. But there's a Ghostbusters thing. I did end up picking Cybermorph up. That was only $10, but I ended up paying $5 for it. So, great deal on that, because you'll see what it goes with. Not only my Jaguar, but something else I pick up later. Another pan shot of my neighbor's booth, and there is some trophies you could win if you competed in the Wizard Tournament or any other tournaments that were going on, like cosplay and a few others I forget off the top of my head, but those were prizes. Going over my booth, this was probably a little more than midday. I'm not 100% sure. Those were some NESs, as you just saw up there. My Atari Jaguar controller. Certainly a fun system. A lot of people checked it out, but those NESs there were a pickup. I picked each one up for $5. They were labeled as parts, not working, but I did end up fixing 2 of them so far. I still have to fix a few more. But there's a pan shot of the convention. Not too much people, like I stated before, but I think it was just timing. Of course, school started for a lot of people after that week or weekend, so I think a lot of people were out with their kids trying to do school shopping. But it did end up getting fairly busy. It got busier in this shot, and it did end up having hundreds of people probably at one point. I was mostly at my booth during the busiest time because, as you can see, there is a lot of people over there. Of course, you don't want to leave your booth when there is people shopping, so I did end up making a great amount of sales. I was certainly happy. More than covered my booth, bought some stuff, and had a lot of cool experiences, like encountering the droid again. Very cool to see. There's that remote control. It was really, really cool to see. There's the NESs yet again, $5 a piece. I still have to fix a couple more of them. Cosmetically, I fixed most of them. The doors still are needed to be replaced or put on there. There's a 3DO, some Saturn stuff there. It was cool to see that 3DO. Of course, not a lot of people have 3DO stuff, but that was the end of that day, so I covered up all my stuff and was ready to head out. But that's what it looks like when the convention is empty. So I was working on the morning. Now here's a morning shot of cleaning up these NESs because there was a ton of gunk on them. I ended up cleaning them very well. They look good now, but when I first got them, boy oh boy, did they look pretty bad. But as the day went on, there you go, opening happened, and this was probably one of the busiest days. I think Sunday turned out to be the busiest day. As any vendor would know, Sunday normally is the day that you cut deals, but I ended up selling a lot of things for full price. I sold that Coleco Telstar right there, my best sale ever. And even though it wasn't that much money that I made off of it, it is now on display in the National Video Game Museum. At least that's what the buyer told me. He was, I think, the owner or one of the runners of the National Video Game Museum. He picked it up from me, and he said he needed it to display in the Video Game Museum. So hopefully it is there. I believe him, and I bet it is there. But I'm glad to have something in a museum, especially the National Video Game Museum. I did end up buying all of those boxes. Well, actually, I traded for them. And that multi-tap, there was only one game included in there. So, while there was only one game, I got all those boxes. There was a couple doubles, not many doubles, so I have a wide variety of Jaguar stuff now. And that Team Tap, I was just thinking, I gotta pick up that White Men Don't Jump, or Can't Jump. But I missed out on that. It was sold. But as you saw, I bought that Jaguar box, so that was only $100. And I traded for that Diahawks N64, that Diahawks at Game Boy Advance, and those 2 games. Now, this is a replacement joystick. I replaced that old one, which is still fine, but this one is a GameCube style joystick. That's why I did end up swapping it out. There's my Odyssey shot, and here is some more opening footage from when the convention did open. There you can see a lot of people did come in. There's my Duck Hunt up and running. I really had a lot of people playing the Duck Hunt, and especially the Atari Jaguar when that was out. There's some SNES stuff from a booth, I believe that was across from me, I'm not 100% sure, but they had a good amount of stuff. They had a lot of games. I didn't buy too much, I mostly traded this convention, and while I did buy a lot, I tried to save a little bit of money, because I did want to cover the booth. And I ended up getting that, and that is what I traded for those boxes. The Genesis, I got that for free, and I got that Sega CD for free, but it wasn't working. And here's a pan shot of everything I did end up with. So you can see there was some Game Gear games I didn't display, and a LCD screen for the PS1, the mini PS1, that I didn't show off, because I got it right at the end when I was leaving. And then there was also that GameCube box. There's all those NESs, some cool and weird games for the N64, the Jaguar box, along with some boxed N64 games I got from Retribution Games, and it was a great convention. I certainly had a blast.